I'm back, guys. So, yeah, basically, we're gonna be watching Seth Rollins, the broadcast. I'm sorry for about that technical difficulties in my storage. So let me show you. So, let's continue.
That the sport has ever seen. But tonight is the unique one. Tonight is the main event that you already alluded to, which brings about the if I told you that question, because to many this is the you couldn't see it coming. Like if I had told you in October or November, just half a year ago, before day one happened with the Rock's pop, before the pivot what that happened with Cody, if I told you that it would be this would have been the night one main event, you would have said,
I would have called you crazy.
Right.
I probably would have laughed you out of the room, to be honest with you. We wouldn't even have been having a conversation. It'd been like a joke.
It's outrageous.
A bad punchline, right? Yeah, there's no way. I mean, you go back to January, to the Rumble, and you said it all the way back, even to November, October. Like, it seems otherworldly. It seems like we're living in some alternate timeline. Like we just jumped universes, you know? It's really, really incredible and special.
I recently heard you discuss what's been going on and specifically what happened with the episode of Raw that we had in Chicago. And you gave a quote, you said that in your time with WWE, you think it may be the best episode of Monday Night Raw that you've ever been a part of. Now, nobody's not attached to the brand more than you are when it comes to Monday Night Raw. So for you to make that statement, but that speaks to the build to this WrestleMania.
Sure.
When you can make that statement, that maybe the best show that you've been a part of was just recently.
Yeah, well, what I felt like it spoke to actually was the fact that all of our assets were firing on all cylinders. Mm-hmm. So I approached an executive. It was right after the Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch in-ring promo, which to me was the best promo of Becky's life. It was the promo of her life. It was incredible, and it really set the stage for what is going to be a monumental women's championship match tonight as well. But I approached them, so the show wasn't even over yet. It was about 2 hours through the show, and it was the first time I'd ever felt this way. 12 years, I felt like something super special was happening for all 3 hours of the show.
Right.
And you couple that with new production elements being put into place that have really taken what we do to and elevated it. And you take a creative process that's really finally kicking into gear and finding its stride. Talent who are elevating themselves based on who they're in there with because it's the biggest time of year. And then you've got this red hot crowd in Chicago. And they've always been one of the best crowds for us, but they really took it to a new level. I mean, we had sold so many extra tickets to that, we had to minimize our set. So it was just everything was firing. And I said before the end of the show to this person, I said, look, I think this is the best Raw I've ever been a part of in 12 years.
Wow.
And I never had that feeling before.
Yeah.
Never in the previous, we've been a part of some incredible episodes.
Absolutely.
This season is special, man. This time is special. I think it's important to understand how special things are right now, because it's easy to look back in retrospect and be like, oh, that was a great time. But when you're in this moment, it's all we've got. We've only got this moment right now. So let's embrace that and enjoy it while we have it.
Hey, man, how's the knee? You get injured back in January. You got to have a little bit of doubt at some point along the path of WrestleMania.
Yep.
How you feeling right now?
It feels pretty good. I made a point to get out in some non-televised events and test it out. I wanted to know going into WrestleMania what I was dealing with. Felt confident going through those matches. They were tag team matches with Cody Rhodes, so it was a little bit of a lighter workload, but I wanted to know how the knee was going to be. I wanted to know what the MCL was going to feel like, the meniscus. And there are a couple of hiccups along the way, as there are. Any athlete will tell you the road to recovery is never a straight line. So, but I'm in a really good place coming into this weekend. I feel extremely confident that I'm going to be able to put on the performance that the people expect me to put on tonight and tomorrow. And we'll go from there. What the next steps are after WrestleMania, I don't know. But this is the big one. We got to get through it. There's no way I wasn't going to make it.
So much of the mainstream focus, obviously, with the mainstream media, the crossover stuff is on tonight, is on the tag team. But you have a huge one on Sunday night with Drew McIntyre. CM Punk's going to be hovering ringside. So for the sports fan out there, for somebody watching on ESPN, what puts the hook in the mouth as to the why they should watch you on Sunday night defend this?
Oh, man. I mean, tonight, Saturday, it's going to be what it's going to be.
Right.
You know, it's going to be a spectacle for sure. You've got just these 4 alphas in the ring vying for supremacy in their own way. Tomorrow is going to be a different animal. Drew's an alpha, and we're going to be vying, for what I feel is the richest prize in our industry. But it's going to be a different ballgame. I mean, the athleticism will be at a different level. The intensity will be at a different level. Drew McIntyre is no joke. This dude is 6'4", 6'5". He's 260 pounds of solid muscle, but he can move. He can jump. He can fly. He can cruise. He can do it all. My work speaks for itself. So I think we're going to go out there. If you look at all of our interactions in the past, we've never missed. I know he's going to bring the fight. I'm going to bring the fight. We also don't like each other very much, so it's going to be super physical, super intense, and both of us want to come out on top. It is as big of a heavyweight title fight as you will find in all of professional sports.
Seth, congratulations. Time and again, this is the weekend you did over-deliver on.
Every
so
time.
We look forward to seeing you. Great work.
Thank you.
Okay.
When you pull more than a move, get same-day orthopedic care for the sport of life with WellSpan Urgent Orthopedics.
You see, I actually like this right here. You walk in here and you say to me, hey, can I have this? And I say to you, you're the champ, because you've been in combat sports for a long time. I've been in combat sports for a long time. Belts matter. People dismiss that sometimes. Belts matter. Being a champ matters. And I can tell with you, it mattered, but it mattered greatly because it validates a lot of your decision to take this on, to do this. What was that feeling like when you're sitting there, you're at Crown Jewel, and all of a sudden you're handed that?
Yeah, this belt's crazy. I mean, first off, it's really heavy and shiny, which is nice. But you know what it is? It's just the physical embodiment of all of my hard work. Like, I feel like in this belt are the souls of every hater who said I would never be anything, and the passion of all the fans who said I would.
Does that fuel you?
Yeah.
Is that is it like deep down, is that your motivation? Like, I'm shutting these people up?
For sure, yeah.
You proving something more to them, or are you proving something more to yourself?
No to them.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I could say the opposite, but like, I say this as arrogantly as possible. I realize I'm capable of like doing a lot. Like I could really achieve a lot if I just put my mind to it and I work hard, which is kind of like the staple of my life. That's the secret. I just work really hard. And so when people doubt me or don't believe in me, it's always fun to prove them wrong.
You see, when I sit back as a guy who's been on air analyzing every sport there is, and you make a statement like that, I don't see that actually as arrogance. I think if you look through the history of sports and you go back even to Muhammad Ali, like you can say it if you can back it up.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was sitting in here earlier today with a guy you're going to be in the ring with competing against this weekend, Randy Orton.
Oh, God.
And when your name came up, and I mean, Randy's done it all, right?
Yeah.
14-time champion,
Yeah.
and he's a monster.
Yeah,
And
he's massive.
and he's as veteran as there is.
Yeah.
His respect for what you've done is unbelievable.
I've intentionally built my life in a way that even if you don't like me, you have to respect me. It would be insane to, I think, look at the things that I've done based on where I came from and write me off. Mm-hmm. Like I've done things that on paper are impossible, and I intend to continue doing that. But for anyone to diminish the entirety of my life because you don't like me just makes them silly.
Let's talk about specifically this and your role as a WWE superstar.
Sure.
I do not consider, listen, you're a champion. You're a legitimate champion.
U.S. champion.
There are guys who come into this with celebrity for cameo pops. It's been happening. You go all the way back. 40 years ago, first WrestleMania, we had it, right,
Yep.
with Mr. T.
Yep.
We've had it with Mike Tyson. We've had it with others. For you, it seemed to click instantly.
Yeah.
You have a level of quick twitch athleticism, the stuff that you've shown with your aerial work. What was it about this that just clicked with you where you said, oh, wait a minute, this works for me. I can do this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like,
Was it the work you put in, or just come natural?
It comes natural to me. I've been jumping off the playground, second story windows since I was a kid. You know, I'm obsessed with launching myself through the air. I don't know why, but like my nickname's the Maverick for a reason.
Yeah.
Dude. Like I love to fly, and in this business, you can fly 15 feet through the air and land on a full-grown man, and it's not weird.
Yeah.
If you do that, in
What
public,
what
it's
does that
weird.
feel like? Describe that moment. You've done a couple of the great in recent years, like some of the top aerial moves
Yeah.
have been you. The stuff with KSI, the stuff
Yeah, we've been
with
flying.
Ricochet.
We've been making moments, man. For a split second, you defy gravity, and you are doing the impossible, and there's 50,000 people watching you, and you can't mess up.
Yeah.
And I love that pressure of that moment because
What's that moment? Tell us about that moment right before you're about to launch.
just do it. Just got to do it. I stand there, I grip the rope, I'm on the top, all eyes on me. Is he gonna land it? Is he gonna botch it? What's gonna happen? And like, man, they say pressure makes diamond, and in that moment, in that specific moment, I feel like a diamond is made.
What was your favorite one so far? Obviously, a young career at this level, but you've had some spectacular moments. What was the one that stands out to you?
Man, I have to say. So there's a couple good ones.
Mid-air rumble?
Superlatives are hard. Probably.
Yeah, I mean, that was...
Probably the mid-air collision with
Yeah.
Ricochet is like, yo.
Right.
When the idea was pitched to me, I was like, yeah. I don't know if that's possible, but we should do it. We should at least try to do it. And that's one where it's like what happens if something goes wrong?
Oh, the timing alone. Yeah.
Ricochet's incredible. He's
He
the most
is.
athletic person in the WWE,
Yeah.
like by far. And so like I needed someone who was crazy enough to do it with me, and it was him. But man, there's also a moment where when I was wrestling Roman Reigns in Saudi, I like freeze midair in this like Superman punch pose, and he's on the bottom loading up a hit to get me when I land. And there's an image that looks like it could be the cover of a Marvel movie.
Right.
I can't believe it's me. I can't believe it's me. To answer your previous question, it's like when I went back and watched my first WrestleMania of me being a WWE superstar, I bought it. I looked at the tape. I was like, oh my God, like, I think I could probably do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was right. And all of a sudden became U.S. champ. And now I'm like looking ahead at these lofty goals that 3 years ago seemed impossible. But like one day I want the WWE title. And I don't think that's impossible.
Well, when did that master plan materialize a bit? Was it, I mean, obviously you just expressed that you're figuring it out and wow, I can do this, but now that's a full-fledged plan in your mind
Yeah.
to try to be the best and be king of the hill of this.
Yeah. I think the idea started to solidify when I got this, to be honest. Like, dude, ask anyone who watched my vlogs in 2017 if they expected me to be a WWE champion. It's like, that's impossible.
Right.
There's no way that, like, goofy kid with a mop on his head is going to be the U.S. champion. But then it happened. And so now I'm like, man, everything I've done, I don't just do it to take part. Like, I really want to be the best at it. And I think I can be, dude. I'm young, and I still have so much to learn. But the in-ring ability comes pretty natural to me, and I really trust my instincts as well.
Yeah,
and I
you're
feel
you're very twitchy. You're
Twitchy.
very athletic. Yeah, not that kind of twitchy.
not as
but
switchy
you're
as
very,
Conor McGregor, am I right?
No. But Logan, when you describe the vlogs of when you describe the vlogs and the person that you were, how has this process changed you in the type of person you are? Well, I mean, this takes real dedication, real discipline. How has being a part of WWE changed you?
I'll tell you what. It's nice to feel like you have a purpose in the entertainment world specifically. This feels so much bigger than anything I've done. Like, yes, I can make YouTube videos and post them online, and that's great. Like, the audience there is fantastic, but the fans here are just so diehard. It's like unlike anything I've ever seen before or experienced before. Whether you're cheering or booing me, they both mean the world to me. If I can get you to react, like, I'm doing my job. And man, I'm just so happy to be a part of this business, and I've experienced a level of gratitude that I am overwhelmed with, and I'm not really sure like how to channel it, but I guess I can try to channel it in my performances and just like give literally everything I have to this industry.
Should we get into what's going to happen this weekend a little bit? Because you're in the ring with two guys who
Yeah.
are as veteran as could be,
Yeah.
as experienced as could be. They're gunning for you. Your current path to get here, there was a disqualification,
Yeah.
winning with KO at Royal Rumble. Elimination Chamber, you pissed off Randy pretty solid there.
Yeah.
And now here you are with the triple threat.
Yeah. You know, what are you gonna do when you're facing Randy Orton and Kevin Owens? I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. They both don't like me. I've pissed them off separately. I've already beaten Kevin to retain my title. But Randy is like he's a new element to this. And he's also, as you've seen, the biggest human in the world, possibly. His head is this big.
Right.
His hands are this big. I don't know. But here's what I do know. I'm relentless. I'm very strong. I'm fast. I'm way more agile and athletic than both of them. And I'll tell you one thing. They've been doing it forever. And with that comes the burning out of their fire. I'm just getting started, right? I see the galaxy ahead of me in terms of the WWE universe. I have this belt. I don't plan on it going anywhere. And I'm definitely not going to let Kevin Owens take it. And Randy Orton, although I respect him, ain't touching my belt.
That's your immediate future, but let's talk what's next beyond this, because obviously you're a champion in WWE. You're a social media superstar. You're a entrepreneur who is killing it as a businessman. This
Thanks.
always is by your side.
Yeah.
Prime right here.
Yeah.
What's next for you? Beyond the work inside the ring and on the mic on WWE, what is next for you?
Man, I really just want to become Tetris World Champion. Why is that funny?
Because he will,
Why is
right?
that funny? I'm sorry, why is that funny? When I say stuff like that, why does everyone laugh at me? You think I can't beat Fractal? You think I can't beat Blue Scooty? Yeah.
Is there a timetable on that championship to set that record?
Man, I'm looking at June. The Tetris World Championships. Gonna come in there and just surprise people with my quick moving fingers and my shape shifting.
It's going to be a big summer for your family then, because obviously you know what's going on with your brother. The announcement that he's going to have the event against Mike Tyson. What was your initial reaction against
Dude,
that?
my brother's fighting Mike Tyson. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Man, I'm so proud of him. He too just does
He's gonna
things that
die.
are on paper like impossible.
Yeah.
Dude. Jake Paul, this goofy little kid, dancing in his bedroom at like 16 years old to Carly Rae Jepsen's Call Me Maybe, is fighting one of the baddest dudes on the planet. It just doesn't make sense. And I think we both live for those moments because they can inspire so many people, you know, like we grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. We made it out, and now we're performing and we get to do what we love best on the biggest stages in the world.
Cleveland, Ohio is going to be a big venue stop for the WWE later this year.
SummerSlam, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, we already got some plans cooking up in your head?
Man, no. I take these events one at a time.
Okay.
I do know I want it to be massive, though. And I'm bringing out all the stops for that one for sure.
In the spotlight at WrestleMania. Congratulations. What a great visit. Great conversation.
Thank
Logan
you,
Paul.
boss. Appreciate you.
We'll see you, man.
Yeah. Take it easy.
Excuse me, would you mind taking a picture of us?
Oh, no problem.
Thanks.
Ooh, yes, problem.
You need Verizon. Get the new iPhone 15 Pro with tons of storage, so you can take all the pics.
Trade in any iPhone in any condition and get iPhone 15 Pro on us. Only on Verizon.
Woody. I mean, it was already fireworks with CJ Stroud taking the league by storm. How big is this trade for Houston?
Randy, I want to get right into it.
Yeah, I know Stephon
And,
Diggs. He's going
and
different.
specifically what the past 2 years of your life has been, because you've accomplished as much as anybody's accomplished in WWE history. But what you've accomplished most recently, to me, impresses me maybe more than anything you've done, and that is simply the comeback. I mean, spinal surgery.
Right.
And hearing the messaging that a doctor gave you is very, very different level of adversity, not just physically,
Right.
but mentally.
Oh, God.
So how much more do you appreciate when you get to when you're back?
Yeah. Wow. What a question. I don't want to take a second for granted.
Right.
I look back at, wasted time in my career where I maybe was complacent or bitter about something, and oh my God, like I feel like I could never feel like that again. Like I got a second chance, man. My career was supposed to be over, and lower lumbar surgery or lower lumbar fusion, like is a pretty serious deal. And Shawn Michaels had one long time ago. They took bone from his hip, threw it in his spine, but I think he had to wrestle months later, which is astounding. But then he had like a 4-year break, and 4 years is a long time for bone to heal, and it just continues to heal. Man, times change. So my fusion was a little different. I had the best surgeons in the country. Dr. Adam Cantor out in Newport Beach, California, put me back together, and I've got titanium everywhere in there, but the key was they didn't cut through any muscle. So I don't think that's me. The key there was that they didn't cut through any muscle, and with my lower back being basically the nucleus of my core, I would not be able to return and be an athlete again if they cut through muscle. Now, a normal fusion is kind of a hack job, and they get in there, they get it done, and they're not really worried about the recovery from the doctor's standpoint, because it's usually done on elderly and obese people. And to have like a young athlete come in, they were able to see that, okay, inside I had this really bad lower spine, but everything around was healthy and strong, and they were able to do it. And it was amazing, because I don't think that I've felt this good since I was in my 20s. I've had back problems for like 10 years, and all these guys have their issues. But yeah, the recovery was long, it was grueling. But when I came back and started moving around, I still didn't even quite know if I was going to be able to return to action. But about 3 months of slowly just dipping my toe in the water and feeling it out, and eventually taking bumps and then hitting an RKO and realizing, like, I'm good. Like, that realization, like, it was just, I can't even explain how.
Well, let's dig into that a little bit, because I find that fascinating. Because you'll hear that perhaps with an NFL running back that has an ACL. The first time I have to really cut hard and put that foot in the ground.
Right.
You'll hear that sometimes with a boxer or a UFC fighter, of the doubts after you've been knocked out. The first real good flush punch that you got to take.
Right.
For you, your style is overly power aggressive.
Sure.
And with vertical. Right. So you had to have those doubts.
Oh, 100%.
Tell us about that.
100%. It took me, I'd say, so I came back in November at Survivor Series. That was in November.
And a lot was asked of you that night.
A lot was, yeah. And
the RKO that night.
Yeah, that's right. The RKO off the top of the cage.
Not a normal height RKO.
No. Yeah, and I remember, like, when we were talking during the day, and the fella from Judgment Day, his name's slipping my mind right now, and I hate it, but hell of a talent. He was at the very top of the cage, and we're kind of sussing out the situation.
JD?
Yeah, JD. Thank you. Sorry, JD. He's at the top of the cage, and I'm just kind of looking, and you got Hunter there and everybody, and they're like, yeah, we got to do this. This will be great. And I'm like, if he came off the top of the turnbuckle, I've done that a bunch. And I'm thinking, maybe, is that the safe route to go, guys? And I remember them just kind of looking at me, and it's like, this is War Games. You're coming back. He's coming off the top. And I was like, shit. Okay. But it all went down. It's like, when you start second guessing yourself in the ring, you're screwed. And I had to just go out there and just have that confidence. But I wasn't there yet. It took me until probably couple months ago where I really started to feel like I was back in the groove. But now, like, it feels like I never left. It feels, like I said, my back hasn't felt this good in over a decade.
And to everybody's eye, and I've heard this a lot with people who watch the product, they look at you now physically too.
Right.
Like, how does the guy look bigger and better than he's ever looked. I mean, you look
you
amazing
would think I'd
now.
lose back surgery. Okay, let's lose some weight so there's less, force on my joints or anything, or I'm carrying around less weight. And I didn't try to gain weight. What happened is I changed my diet a little bit. My diet was always trash, and I'd fill in a lot with protein shakes and supplements, and I wasn't eating enough whole food. I was kind of just taking the easy route, and I followed suit with a couple of the guys that I work with that are like great with diets and everything, and I switched to like eating mainly whole foods, and but the biggest thing was I was able to train in the gym in a way that I hadn't been able to in over a decade.
Gotcha.
And so a lot of that weight, like the weights, I put it on everywhere, but a lot's down here where I didn't really have a posterior chain, like my ass and hamstrings and everything. They weren't activating properly. My quads were taking over. I've got like big quads, and that's because they were doing all the work. And my back was just slowly deteriorating. And so now that it's fixed and my body's, operating correctly, I was able to strengthen my core, and then the weight just started piling on. And I just had the family in Puerto Rico for a few days. We had a chef. I weighed myself. I was 287.
Wow.
Dude, I've never been even close to that.
But you're still quick twitch at 287.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Like I feel like it's almost my natural weight. 275 is where I'm comfortable. It's WrestleMania season. Usually guys tighten up.
Right.
I came back with a little bit of a belly, but I feel great, and I don't even really care what I look like. It's because I feel so good. Whatever happens here physically, to the eye, I'm not really worried about it. I'm training to be healthy in that ring so that when I do want to call it quits one day, it's me doing it and not some doctor telling me, hang up the boots. Because I already, got out of that once.
Right.
I don't want to do it again.
Right. You had that messaging where you thought perhaps that's how this whole thing is going to go. And now I've heard you recently say that when people, and listen, obviously you're sitting back, you're a 14-time champion. So everybody would make the goal, hey, having a belt raised up in the air again. But you've said, if that happens, and that very well could be happening immediately, and could be happening this weekend, and could be happening again later this year.
Right.
But you've said it's longevity and being a full roster guy who's active.
Yeah.
That is the goal. Not being the occasional legacy guy who sprinkles it in a little bit.
Right.
So being healthy helps that.
100%.
Yeah.
And like I have been around a long time. This will be my 19th WrestleMania that I performed at. Wow. There's two guys that have been performed in more WrestleManias than me. The Undertaker at 27 WrestleManias and Triple H at 23. And then you got Randy Orton at 19. I'm in a nice little group of people there, man. Those are some cool names. But I want to be around. To me, if I can beat Undertaker's record of 27 WrestleManias and still be, healthy and feeling good, like that, to me, that's my goal.
When you pull more than a move, get same-day orthopedic care for the sport of life with WellSpan Urgent Orthopedics.
When I hear you say that and we think about the longevity of your career, I think about the fact that you have a unique perspective that others don't. So you're equipped when we have this moment in time with sports entertainment to answer certain questions that perhaps others aren't. And I'll just throw this at you. Why is the sport so red hot right now?
Gosh, so many factors. I think, obviously, you have Rock coming back, and that's putting a microscope on our business. He's bringing a lot of fans in. You've got Logan Paul, who's bringing a whole swath of fans.
So you're doing business with
of
this
course,
weekend, right?
and Logan, I don't want to get too, behind the curtain there or whatever, but like, hell of a dude. I would have not known what to have thought when I first met the guy. But holy shit, he's a very mature, like whatever however he came up in that YouTube world, he's that YouTube generation, you know, I just, like, I have 5 kids. So, like, I see, like, the transformation, children maturing, and I have a 21-year-old who's just, you know, it's like you're talking to a 40-year-old man. He's just a good, great, mature, good head on his shoulders. And so when I see Logan, and I hear about maybe some of the things he did when he was younger, and I see him, like I'm speaking to him, like the respect he has for our business, the way that he looks me in the eye when he's speaking to me, the way that he wants to learn and wants to be. There's guys here, there's guys that have been in the locker room throughout my career that are nowhere near as motivated as Logan Paul.
I was listening to his podcast a week ago. In the middle of it, probably like 40 minutes into the podcast, somebody was talking to him. Your name came up.
Okay.
And he didn't even have, you're the guy. In terms of respect, he's like, I don't want to F with him. Like, he's like, that's a big human being who's a veteran guy. So he understands, you know, the hierarchy, and you get that sense right away.
Yeah. But not even that. He'll treat the guy on the bottom of the card and then the catering staff with respect.
Right, but in the ring, he understands what he's, you know,
100%.
who's opposite him.
100%.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
He's smart.
He's smart enough
He's smart, and he is one hell of an athlete. And I've never seen, and I mean, everybody says this about him, and I think he hates hearing it because so many people say it, but he's really amazing and one of a kind when it comes to people on the outside coming in and trying their hand at what we do. You know, he's taken to it very well.
Yeah, especially some of the aerial stuff.
Yeah. Stuff I could never dream of doing.
Well, there's other things you do that others couldn't do as well, and that is the mastery of what, in my opinion, is the best finisher there is, right? So I want to get granular for a moment because we talked about it earlier that you come back and you had to hit an RKO that was non-conforming.
Right.
Tell us what it feels like when you know you hit the RKO just right, like that sweet spot of the timing, the perfect land, everything. What does it feel like?
Just like when anything else goes off and you know you got him right in the palm of your hand, it's just like that. But when any of us just do something that just goes down perfectly and you get that reaction, there's no real quite way to explain it. Like, I've been laying there before after an RKO where, you know, maybe I'm too screwed up physically to make the cover.
Right.
We're just laying there and I'm listening to the people and I'm listening to them and kind of deciding on, you know, all right, when will I move? When will I start to make the slow crawl? Like, and I'm listening, and just to be in that moment, to hear all those people and to be like on center stage with everybody watching you, and like Sunday, 80,000 people, like it's just the adrenaline rush that you get, and then just that like buzz, that natural high you get from being in the ring and connecting with something like that. And you know, it's WrestleMania, so you know, I'm gonna try and pull something out of the hat, you know, that I haven't done before. So like, my stuff's not generally very high risk. But Sunday I'm gonna try and pull some shit out. You know what I mean? Like, and so I'm looking forward to that. Like Sunday I've got an opportunity to hit an RKO that I haven't done before and to put 80,000 people on their feet, just like, and just knowing that we're gonna get there and that I'm gonna have that possibility of shitting the bed or hitting it dead on, like, oh, when you capitalize on it and you feel that reaction, there's nothing better, man. Nothing better, Joe.
Do you watch back your work?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
So there often is a moment that as a consumer, as a viewer, is so appreciated that I don't know if you do it subconsciously or if you make a conscious, but you mirror the reaction of the fan when you yourself celebrate your RKO.
Right,
when you know
you
hit it the sweet spot ones. You can't help yourself.
No. Yeah, I know exactly what
you know.
One time I feel like I was so excited I forgot to win the match. I popped up. I did it. I didn't think I was gonna do it.
No cover, doesn't matter.
Oh shit, I gotta win the match. That was with Seth Rollins 10 years ago now, where he went for the curb stomp.
Right, you pushed up. Yeah.
You know, we practiced that.
He got so high on that.
Yeah, he did. And we practiced that and just couldn't hit it. But you're in a hotel conference room with a ring set up for you to, like, talk about some ideas you want to maybe do at WrestleMania, what have you. And so it's a very cold environment. There's no fans, obviously. And to rehearse something like that is virtually impossible.
Right.
So there's a couple things Sunday where, God, a bunch of people are like, man, you need to try that once. You know, we got to rehearse that, make sure that you can do it. And it's like, man, but if I do that, I know it's not going to work because I don't have the crowd. I'm not in the environment.
Absolutely.
So we got to wait until the day when we're right there in the middle of it.
That's not one that you leave in the gym.
No. Yeah. Like I got one in me.
That's
you
right.
know? And so like that's just. But man, you know, I'm going to bed at night, and that's what I'm thinking about. And it's just man. I'm 44 years. I just turned 44, and it's like, man, I'm happy as a pig in shit, man. Just this is where I want to be, and this is what I want to do. And there's like some other options that have come up, and like, oh, maybe I can do this too, or maybe I can do that too. But it's like, man, after my back got fixed, and I got this new lease on my career, it's like this. I'm right where I need to be. This is what I was meant to do, and the confidence level is now back to where, okay, let's go to work, you know, and it feels great, man.
Well, it feels great for all of us to experience your comeback. Congratulations on it. Congratulations on yet another WrestleMania for the Viper, the Apex Predator, Randy Orton. Great visit with you.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, guys.
All right, Johnny.
next,
Gus has a very tricky putt for
we'll be
birdie.
doing this
Oh, wait.
last
This
one,
is something new.
and after
It's the new cash
I'm gonna
blowout
end
from the
video.
PA lottery with
Okay,
total
guys,
prizes of
so,
160 million bucks.
The next video, we're gonna do Cody Rhodes
This is your best round yet, Gus.
and the other people.
Keep on scratching.
Yeah.
Grandest stage of them all. Sort of built for you, right? You've done it all. You've conquered it. I can remember being with my daughter a few years ago in New Jersey, staying up late night to see you conquer the world at WrestleMania. You've done it absolutely all. When you get to a week like this, are you able to pause and reflect a little bit on the climb of the mountain? Are you so hyper-focused just at the task at hand?
I think most years I've been able to. This year I decided to tack a book tour on.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, how can I make this week even more stressful for myself? That's how. But it's been great, you know, and I think all the momentum of March on my side, you know, between becoming a New York Times bestseller and
Congratulations
visiting
on
the White
that.
House and becoming a U.S. citizen and all the other things that that I've done on top of leading up to the biggest WrestleMania of all time, going in there looking to take that championship back.
A lot of times when somebody writes a book, they'll often say that that journey is very rewarding because you actually learn. So you think you know everything about yourself, right? And then you actually learn stuff about yourself. What did you learn about yourself in the process?
Gosh, I don't know that I learned anything that I didn't know already. But I suppose it helped me reflect on how much all the downs in my journey have really made the ups, you know. And you go through all of these things, and you're like, why is this happening? Why am I making these decisions? And they don't always come to light until afterwards, until you've played the long game, until you get to where you want to go. And I just like the things like I left wrestling for 7 years, you know, and in that time I was always thinking about wrestling. How am I going to get back to wrestling? I feel like I have this thing to do in wrestling that I'm not doing. But if I didn't arrive when I arrived, like I wouldn't have gotten to do the things that I've gotten to do. And it's crazy because we always go chasing these goals and our dreams and these ambitions, and we can get impatient. And I'm certainly very impatient. But sometimes life has its own timing, and it's quite perfect.
But one of the decisions you've made in recent years, you and Seth, is your exceptional parents, is, hey, we're going to have life on the road as a family.
Yeah.
How do you, and you just told us all the details of the past month, the book tour and things happening outside the ring, and then, you know, here you are also fighting for a world championship. How do you juggle it all, life on the road as a family, and you get to, and then he's got his week, which is, by the way, massive.
Massive, too much.
How do you juggle it all in a week like this?
You just do, and with help. And with help. We're very lucky. Like, we have a bus. Our bus driver's wife is our nanny.
Yeah.
So it's just this perfect situation that, you know, you couldn't have written it better, you know. And then our friends are in town, so they love Rue, and so they'll take her when we're busy and stuff like that. So we're very lucky in that we've got a lot of help. I mean, because it does take a village, doesn't it? You know?
Oh, it does.
It does take a village.
Let's dig in on what we're going to see this weekend. What do you think of Rhea Ripley?
I think she is fantastic. I will say that. I think she is fantastic. I think she has a finesse in the ring. I think she's one of the best we've ever seen. She's got a presence and a charisma about her. But I don't like her. I don't like her. I don't like how she does things. I am a grind it out in the ring every night of the week kind of gal and kind of champion. She's more seen fluttering around backstage, flirting with Dominic Mysterio and politicking with Adam Pearce or whoever else she needs to get ahead. And I don't like that kind of champion. I like a fighting champion.
If the night goes the way you expect it to go, in the way you want it to go, how do you see things playing out? What are we in store for?
Oh, then you're in store for a fighting champion. You know, Rhea Ripley's a turkey, I'm an eagle, and we're in Philadelphia, baby. We're gonna soar.
Oh, wow, that's a good line there. Drop an eagle line, that's a good line. So here we are, 6th time competing in a title match at WrestleMania. You just keep making history. And you're filled with gratitude. You have a great appreciation as the years go on and everything that keeps adding to the resume?
I do, yeah. I mean, look, I'm a girl who failed PE. I like, the title of my book is not your average girl, because I grew up so ridiculously unremarkable, you know? There was just nothing about me that would ever signify any sort of success, let alone getting to be the first woman to win the main event of WrestleMania, to forge a path for women in this industry that hadn't been seen before, and to be part of that is amazing. And then do all of the things that I've done on top of becoming a New York Times bestseller and having my amazing family with me.
You mentioned the growth of the women's game and opportunity. The state of the women's game right now, I mean, the roster is deep. The performances are red hot fire. You're very proud of where things are?
Absolutely, yeah, because look, we can't do this on our own. I can't make history on my own. Can't have matches on my own. We need everybody on top of their game, because, you know, rising tides lift all boats.
Congratulations on being back again. Best of luck. Always great to visit with you.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Hope you liked that video.
Excuse me, would you mind taking a picture of this?
Video. And yeah, so bye guys.